giving you an opportunity to get the full story from the people who tell it best. This is Mediacom Newsleaders.
My guest over here is very influential. I've heard him speak, and he's got so much to say that's good news for a lot of us. And you'll find out more in just a moment. This is Charles Stephenson. Charles, welcome to Newsleaders.
Glad to be here, James.
Good to have you here. I saw you at Radio Friends with Paul
sir.
Pepper.
Yes, sir.
I heard you talking in the conference room, and I said, I got to get this guy on the show. You've got so much good information. Executive Director for Fathers Committed to Family,
Yes, sir.
which comes out of Powerhouse Community Development Corporation.
Yes, sir.
You were just telling me this is 10 years old,
Yeah,
the Powerhouse.
Yes, sir. We started November 2008 in Saline County with multiple programs. We started first with our substance abuse program, and then we added a men's transition home known as Fresh Start, and then we started working with youth and created our youth empowerment agency, and we work with over 100 youth throughout the year, and then run a big summer camp for 10 weeks and feed about 400 or 500 kids during the summer with the Department of Health and Senior Service program. So as we begin to work with those different programs, we came into knowing about the importance of the role that the father plays in the lives of the children.
Did that make you stop, hit the brakes, and say, wait a minute, this is the crux of the problem?
Yes, sir, it did. As I began to look into fatherhood and begin to try to help men who had child support issues and working with them, I began to find a wealth of information regarding the impact of fatherlessness. And that's what really propelled me. Over 26 million kids grow up in the United States, according to the United Census Bureau, without a father present. And that's just traumatic. 90% of all teens in trouble didn't have a father. 80% of all teenage pregnancies, no father involved. And as I begin to look at all these statistics, I'm like, man, you know, the issues surrounding for children's welfare well-being is surrounded around the fatherlessness issue.
So then you decided, I've got to do Fathers Committed to Family.
I got to do something with the father, yeah.
That's a big thing to tackle.
It is. It's very vast when you look at it, because so many fathers come from different walks of lives, and so you're dealing from poverty to educational barriers and everything, but we're able to, through education classes and everything, really, really work with these different fathers and be able to get them whole and healthy and back in the lives of their children. In this journey, we begin to work with the Family Support Division, which is a children division under the leadership of John Jenright, and we partnership with them to be able to go into the courts, alternative courts, and instead of fathers going to prison because of failure to pay child support, they're allowed them to come into our classes. So we're beginning to work with those fathers, help them find employment so that they can be able to be sufficient and be able to get back in the lives of the children.
Why do you think there's this great divide?
I think there's this great divide because in the 60s, welfare was introduced, and we did a lot of public housing, but almost all of the social programs are given in the absence of the father. So to receive any type of financial support from the federal government, there has to be no man involved. So it pushed the father out of the equation as we begin to see these different programs, social programs, come on the horizon. So that the role of the father has been tainted. So we've seen this since the 60s, this trend. Now over 40s, I think early there was about only 15% of children grew up in poverty that had a single parent's household, where today 48% of all poverty, families impoverished, are single mother households. And it's just amazing when you look at the impact on poverty. Substance abuse, 5 times more likely to be involved in substance abuse or alcoholism. Even with the psychological or the emotional trauma, it's impacting. They can see as early as 3 years old how the fatherlessness is impacting the lives of children. And I read a statistic this morning from the Department of Health and Human Services that just staggered me. 65% of all suicides, teen suicides, are of children who did not have a father in their lives.
Really?
And so it
works its way into so many different areas of life and the problems there. Well, so someone's watching today and says, okay, maybe he can help me. What can they do?
Well, we're in Columbia and Boone County now. We're so happy to be here. We're working with Community Youth Works and United Community Builders. Here are those 2 agencies that have allowed us to come in partnership in their offices and be able to provide services here in Boone County. We're also working with the courts, trying to work with fathers there. So the 2 things we really want to do is just get awareness of the impact that fathers have in the lives of children. And the second thing is that we're here to provide services to those fathers that needs these services so that they have not seen the model, James. I mean, they don't know what a good father looks like. They don't know the role of a father. And so we're here today to talk about that and get that conversation going in Boone County.
For more information, we've got a phone number, 660-202-8767.
Yes, sir.
Or pwrhousecdc.org.
Yes.
That'll get you a lot more information.
Yeah, if you want to come to pwrhousecdc.org, there's a wealth of information there. Just look under the Fathers Committed to Family section, and you can find a wealth of knowledge. And we're here to serve Columbia, and we're just glad to have this opportunity to highlight the issue with fathers, because I believe fatherlessness is a systemic barrier to the well-being and welfare of children.
I do too. Well, you've got a lot to say, so come on back and see me, okay?
I'd love to,
Charles
James.
Stephenson, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Happy New Year to you.
You too, sir.